They take one bite and you're done, okay? Half the people that get bitten by them have to have some kind of surgery. You can't walk out of the ocean after you've gotten bitten by a great white shark and come out unscathed. You're gonna have stitches, staples, hell, you may even be missing a leg or an arm. You cannot stay in the water. Now people are like, oh, they're misunderstood creatures. No, they are animals. Animals. What do they think about in life? They think about pooping, peeing, and fucking. That's what they think about doing. And swimming in the fucking ocean, because that's what they do. Okay, they don't think about, oh, well, if I bite Johnny's leg, he might be hurting and be mad at me. No, they don't give a shit. They don't know who you are. They don't want to know. Okay? Because they don't know what you're doing. You're there in their natural habitat. It's not their fault that you're there. That's why when you go to the beach, you go with a group of friends. You don't go swimming alone by yourself. And the reason why is because you can get bit, and when you scream, no one will hear you. So do not go to a non-populated beach. The more populated, the better. I know you're like, oh, well, it's gonna be dirtier. That doesn't matter. You know, your life depends on this, and you have to follow it. Here's a nice shell. Sometimes you'll see they got these little things up here. It's got a little crack there, so it's not as nice, but the cool thing about this up at the top here is that, like, you can put a necklace, like a string. You can put it on a string and wear it as a necklace. So it's kind of a neat thing. But so yeah, like when you're at the beach, you have to swim safely, and you also have to keep in mind of the tides. You want to swim against the tide. That's what I was told. I don't know how true that is. I mean, I wouldn't say swim into the tide, because it'll pull you like right out, way out. And as you can see over there, there's a cruise ship off in the distance that's come from Cape Canaveral, where all the shuttles are launched. Now, you'll see these little sandpipers. They're very cute. And when you go to the beach, you want to keep in mind of the sharks. There's the main types of sharks around here are nurse sharks, I think bull sharks, and I know great white sharks. I've only seen a great white shark and a nurse shark here. A sand nurse shark is what I saw. It's almost the color of the sand here, hence why it's called sand nurse shark. And they don't see, the thing is, they're not out to get you, these sharks, but since you're swimming in their like natural zone, you're in their personal bubble. And so when you do that, they don't know what's there, because they're gonna think, because you're swimming around, they're gonna think you're a seal or a sea lion, and they're gonna see, oh, legs are kicking and you have roughly the shape of a sea lion to them. And they'll bite you. Most of them will bite you and let go, from what I've heard and what I've seen, because I've got my cousin. Oh look, somebody left us a little treasure on the beach. Huh. Anyway, so from what I've heard and what I've seen, really pretty, is they will bite you and then they'll let go. But by the time they bit you, they cut through several layers of tissues and skin to where you have to go to the hospital, because you'll be bleeding really badly. And you have to get really big stitches, and it's frightening. So what I recommend is when you go out to swim, you go maybe like waist deep, not even, and just like squat if you want to get your full body wet. Because if you go way out to the midway, no one is gonna hear you. You're gonna be screaming and thrashing, and you know, depending on where they bite you, it could be critical damage, and it's just not safe. So yeah, you want to go do that. And as far as it goes for the beach, when you're here, even if it's overcast like this is. I mean, you can see the sunset, it's really pretty. But even if it's overcast, you want to like put on lots of sunscreen. Now, sunblock will block out the sun, but sunscreen will actually allow you to get a tan. And that's great, because if you get a tan, you're probably getting your vitamin E, which is what everybody needs, but you only need 15 minutes to get your vitamin E. You don't need to be out here for a whole day to get your vitamin E. You want to put on your I like sunblock because it keeps me fair. I mean, you go to Florida here, just about everyone is tan. I like to stand out, I like to be different. But if you go to some place like here, yeah, you want to put on like at least, I put on 50 SPF because I want to be fair skinned. You could probably get away with maybe half of that, 25 or 30 SPF, and get your tan. Remember, you're supposed to reapply it, like I think it's every hour, every couple hours. I use Neutrogena. I like it. It prevents me from getting burned. Do not try to get a burn. Try to get a burn, you may have to go to the hospital depending on how severe the burn is, because the burns could be as severe as an actual fire burn. Trust me, I know, because my brother had one. He had them on both of his legs, and they swelled up into big pus bubbles, and I've had it where I've lost layers and layers of skin, like totally peeled off. So don't press your luck to be like, I want a suntan. Like, you can get a suntan, just make sure you put on your sunscreen so you don't go and get burned. If you want nose tan, then put on sunblock, but I guarantee you come to this beautiful beach, something like this, you're gonna get burned the hell out of. Now, if you want a beach with no rough waves, you can go to not the East Coast, the West Coast, and there'll be no surf, and you'll have like really unique shells, like long or curly, which are really cool looking because they kind of look like curly cues. And then you could go to you could go to the beach and on the West Coast, and there'll be white sand. As you can see, this is the East Coast where there's dark sand. Now, I'm not quite sure about the reasoning behind that, but I know that on the West Coast they are very, very particular about their beaches. They won't let you be there past dark, and the beaches are very clean. They have somebody that cleans them up like routinely. You can't leave any trash on the beach, you will get fined. You come here to the East Coast, people bring their dogs, and sometimes the dog shits on the beach, and you're like, what the fuck, man? Pick up after your damn dog. You come here after dark, when it's pitch black out, there'll be 10 people banging on the beach, and they don't set up like, a little camp, but they're, it's so dark because we have sea turtle laws here to where like you can't have certain kinds of lights on while you're at the beach at night, because the sea turtles come here and make a nest for their eggs, and if you have your lights on, the babies go blind. So so there's so many people on the beach that unless like there's a cop out here patrolling with a flashlight, which he's not even really supposed to have. I mean, I think a cop could get away with it, but normal pedestrians shouldn't be using flashlights on the beach unless they're the special turtle lights. And if you're patrolling on the beach at night here, unless you're like a police officer patrolling, you're not gonna notice it, or unless you're walking. Remember one time when I was 19, I was walking on the beach with my friend. We weren't doing anything bad, but we were walking, and I saw this dark figure, and I didn't know what it was because, I thought it was maybe like a hole some kid dug at the beach. But I just kept walking anyway, and I tripped and went flying forward, and this guy was like, hey! And he gave me his fist, and he's like, hey! He's freaking out. I was like, oh shit! And he was pissed off. Apparently he was banging his wife on the beach, or whoever the hell that was he was banging. And I was so embarrassed and scared that me and my friend just beat it out of the beach. made a dash for it because we thought that guy was gonna like come and beat the snot out of us or something. It's funny, but yeah, that was at Paradise Beach, and I haven't gone back there at night since, just because it was like really creepy. But yeah, there's always like 10 people banging on the beach at night because, you know, like probably their parents are like, what you banging here? Or somebody's probably like cheating on his wife or something, so they have to take her to the beach to bang her. It's stupid, and I don't, it's so cold. I got my pants wet. Anyway, I don't know why anybody would want to bang their wife on the beach or their girlfriend or whatever, because the wind is so filled with sand that after you leave you can feel like there's like a layer of sand on you. Sometimes you could get away with it, but like if you're on the beach and you're hooking up, it's like the sand's gonna kick up around you. Like just by walking, you have to, on the beach, you have to like rinse your feet off. So I don't know why anybody would want to do that, because you get sand up your twat, you're gonna have to go to the doctor because it's gonna get very difficult to come out, and you don't want to have to do that, because if you get sand in your lady parts, then you could potentially have what's it called? Yeast, yeah. You could potentially have yeast. I don't know if you can see the ocean there, but it looks so pretty out. There's a bird right there. Yeah, like this is so like calming. The air is very soothing for the soul, because you're like, it's like, just taste that clean air, and it's wonderful because it's salty and great. Now the thing about the water here is that it is actually it's actually kind of murky. I don't know if you can tell. It's not murky, but it's the Atlantic. So when you go in the water there, you can't really see very well. Even if you have like glasses on, like goggles, you could see like to an extent. But once you like just pass maybe your foot, you can't really see much, just because the water is so salty and murky. I keep wanting to say murky only because it's so green, you just can't, I don't know. Like I've been in other places in Florida, like if you go to like say the West Coast, the water is crystal clear. You could see like really far, and the water is warm. But here the water is cold, probably because it's coming from the north as well, because New York has got the Atlantic as well. So it's really cold, but like once it gets to like 90 degrees or 100 degrees outside, it's the water is nice and warm here, especially in the summer around June, July. See, there's somebody's got their dog. It doesn't even have a freaking leash on him. Like, what the crap is that? Like, put a leash on your dog. Like, we don't want your dog jumping on us at the beach. Like, it's one thing if people like dogs or if they're not allergic to them, but I'm allergic. So I don't want people's dogs, like, running all over the beach. But yeah, like, there's, you know, a lot of things. I mean, what I'm gonna tell you about the beach here in Florida is if you want to party, you want to have a good time where it's not regulated as much, you go to the East Coast, which is great because you go to the East Coast and we've got Orlando, that's about an hour north, you got Cocoa Beach, you got all kinds of things here. If you want boring and tranquility, and I call it boring because once it hits like sundown, you have to leave, and if it's like sun goes down at 6, well then hey, you gotta go. And there isn't much to do other than the beach there. Then you go to the West Coast, like you go to Panama, you go to, now if you want like really clean beach, go to Destin. Destin is really nice. There's a lot more social activity going on there. They have some dorky little tiny water park, and I'm not like dissing the water park, but it's just like, you know, it's small. So I mean, I've been to like Wet n Wild and Blizzard Beach. I kind of prefer Blizzard Beach to Wet n Wild because it's cleaner. In fact, they're actually closing Wet n Wild. I think they already have it closed now, but they were closing it and they were selling it off to Universal. So I wonder what Universal's gonna do with it. But yeah, like we have Blizzard Beach and it's really, really nice. So like that's in Orlando, Blizzard Beach. Whereas if you go to like say the West Coast, it's so pretty. But if you go to the West Coast, you're gonna find You're gonna